Well, Senator, thank you so much. I'm here today as a private citizen. I'm here today because I'm worried. I'm worried about America. I'm worried about an education system that doesn't work. I'm worried about inner city schools that make a mockery out of our commitment to equality of opportunity. I'm worried about the fact that we know that our system of public education is failing. We know, like so many other things government does, where we set out good intentions in doing it, the system ends up being run for the benefit of the people who run the system. And we need dramatic change in America, dramatic change in education. We know the current system is failing. There's no uncertainty about that. We've had thousands of tests, thousands of longitudinal studies where we've looked over generations of people. Anybody who poses any question about the quality of public education, I'm sorry, it's hard to take them seriously that they're being honest. It's failing, and we know it. There are 24 states in America in the District of Columbia that have some system of choice. I'm proud to say I was one of the authors of the federal system in the District of Columbia. When I was in the Senate, I was the only member of the Senate who had had a child in public schools in the District of Columbia. What do I like about choice? Freedom. What is questionable about freedom? Nothing. What we need to do is to give parents the choice as to whether they want to take some portion of what is being spent on their behalf and use that to send their children to the school of their choice. This is not public money. There is no public money. This is taxpayer money. This money is coming from parents. Let me also say, I'm very concerned about the inner cities, and we need to do something. Our conscience ought to drive us to do something. But freedom's not just for people in the inner city. Every child in Texas ought to have a choice. Their parents are paying the money. It's their money. It's their child. They ought to have a choice. Now, I know there are problems that can be raised. I listened to the problem about what if you had a subversive school? If you advocate the overthrow of the Constitution of the United States, it can put you in the federal penitentiary for 20 years. We don't have to worry about school standards on an issue like that. The question is, what happens to the 40% of the money that comes back? Well, a child is out of the public system, so you're not spending the money on that child. The state government is better off. You don't spend it on education, it's your fault. So I believe we need dramatic action, and I urge you, I'm for this shell bill, Senator Taylor. I think, first of all, how can you justify the limit on charter schools? What is the justification that you've only got a fixed number when you've got children who in the lottery don't get in and they burst out in tears? Why do we have any limit on charter schools? If children want to go to them, it's their parents' money. I would urge you to take your shell bill and take that limit off. And secondly, I like the idea of giving everybody freedom. Now, final point. It is true that with this voucher, you're not going to be able to go to St. Mark's. You're not going to be able to go to Princeton or Harvard. Many people in going to college are not going to be able to afford it. But does that mean that you ought not to have some choice as to where you want to go? My mama, working at a cotton mill, who had been through the 7th grade in school, sent my brother to Catholic school for 3 years. He was the first person in my family to graduate from high school, the first person in my family to graduate from college, the first person in my family to go to graduate school and graduate, and not one person in my family since that day has not graduated from college. This makes a big difference. We're talking about real people's lives here. And what we need to do, if there are problems, we need to solve them. But I know, final point, and I've run over. Clearly, the teachers' union is against choice. It's obvious to a blind man. This is the tyranny of the status quo at work. And nobody can address this issue head on. This debate has been won. Freedom works, and a government monopoly fails, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Anybody that's seen Waiting for Superman, that movie is the Harriet Beecher Stowe Uncle Tom's Cabin of this debate. If you can watch that and not weep at what we're doing, something's wrong with your heart. But what is happening is we've got all these little excuses as to why we don't move on with freedom. Texas is the freest place on the face of the earth. If we can't have freedom in education here, where can it be? How much talent is there in ordinary people? I wonder how many people, Senator Lucio, how many people in the poorest school district in your district have real talent? My guess is a hell of a lot of them do. But we're never going to know it if we don't give them the opportunity. And I'm not Roman Catholic. My brother was not Roman Catholic. But the Catholic schools changed his life. They changed the life of my family. I'd like a lot of children to have that option. And what they did for Italians and Americans and what they did for Irish Americans, I believe they can do for waves of new immigrants. So that's the choice I want people to have. That's why I came here today. I'm not an expert on any of these things, but I care deeply about them. And I think we need a dramatic change.
Thank you.